Welcome back to the Strive Plus screencast series. I'm Lena Zakharopoulos, Programs Coordinator, Learning Center, Seneca College. In this episode, entitled Motivation, Salt or School, we'll be exploring motivation and how to maintain motivation in this marathon we call academic life. When I think of motivation, a story that my mother told me instantly comes to mind. As a young child, she had been asked to go to the grocery store by her mother with the required money to buy a bag of salt. My mother, a child at the time, made a decision not to buy the salt but to register for school in her local town, which at that time required a small school registration fee, unlike Canadian elementary schools where there is no fee. This surprised her mother. Her mother wondered what had motivated her daughter to buy the school registration fee instead of the salt. When she asked my mother, she said this: "I did not want to remain in a small town and wanted to advance myself." This leads me to the first point about motivation. Find a larger purpose for your academic studies. In my mother's case, she wanted to move beyond her current circumstances and make a better life for herself. She was growing up in a small mountainous rural community in Greece, and this was what then led her to seek the beginning of studies that would take her to college studies and then immigration to Canada. Perhaps you are the first member in your family to go to college, or perhaps you are having a hard time in your current life and want to improve your circumstances. The way forward is never an easy thing to choose, and school does offer this hope for many, as it did for my mother. Tap into a larger life purpose for yourself. It may be helping children in a nursery school, it may be teaching an adult how to read, or it may be simply to go to school to get a job sufficient enough to start and support a family. Tap into your values to find meaning in your studies. For some, a career is not just a career, but a calling. Are your values calling you to something specifically in your life? Revisit values that you learned as a child, or consider an activity to help you find that existential meaning for why your life has turned out the way it has and what you hope to make it in the future. Envisioning Your Career, a webinar in the Strive series, helps students to explore some of their values in career decision-making, but this can be used to motivate your academics as well. Studies have shown that those who find meaning for existing are more likely to experience fewer health problems, be more resilient, motivated, and overcome life's adversities. Create an environment of love and support, but include a support built on integrity rather than comfort. According to biopsychosocial models of mental health and well-being, there is an environmental reason for why individuals get depressed and have difficulties motivating themselves. You may have received negative attention growing up in your studies or in your family for one reason or another, and this has impacted how you view yourself and your abilities. Surround yourself with people who will see the best in you, but also are not afraid to be honest with you about those areas that need improvement. For some, this may not be motivating at all. This has led to many severed relationships. However, integrity is an ingredient of true love. Positive messaging around you must be balanced, while constructive feedback is meant to lead you to what psychologists have called self-actualization, simply self-completion. A support system built on false truths may feel good and be comfortable, but rarely leads to completion of one's larger life calling or purpose or positive motivation. Align your strengths to your learning and studies. Are you working against your strengths or working with them? If you've discovered areas that are weaknesses for you, such as mathematics as one example, it wouldn't be a wise decision to go into an accounting program that is math-based simply because the job pays well. This will lead to many sleepless nights and likely a great deal of procrastination. If you are procrastinating, this may be a sign that something isn't right. Consider the Working with Your Strengths webinar in the Strive Learning series to help you evaluate your strengths to ensure they are aligned with your programs of study. Although some love salty foods and the salt might have been a more attractive option for those not wanting to school, too much salt is never good for anyone. And very rarely does it lead to positive outcomes in health and well-being. So, if you have a purpose for doing something and focus on creating a life of meaning, then likely the motivation will follow. We hope you'll join the Learning Center again next time. Thank you for listening, and may you find that purpose which motivates you to the finish line.